Hi guys, let's tune in. I'm in my closet. Don't worry about it. Today is going to be our second discussion on the nervous system and our fourth conversation on emotions. Remember, we talked about the central nervous system last time, which consists of the brain and the spine. The nervous system is split into two divisions, but this next division we are talking about is split into several divisions. So don't get overwhelmed. The point is that the nervous system, remember, which is the body communicating your internal state, trying to stabilize it, or communicate what is happening in your environment. It is one of those two things, but we go through different emotions, right? Whether it's anger or fatigue, all of these different emotions, the body is trying to regulate, not just within thyself, but handling all of the crud in your environment, right? And we can see the world is crudful. So the better we can stabilize our internal state and put ourselves in good environments, we are making it so that the nervous system has less work to do, which is the goal, right? We want it to be stable. But let's get into this. The definition of the nervous system, okay? Okay. Nervous system regulation is the process by which your body keeps your internal state balanced, stable, and responsive to the environment. It's mainly controlled by the autonomic nervous system, which runs automatically with no conscious effort required, right? Central nervous system, brain and spine, that y-axis, what is running vertically, and that part of the nervous system is responsible for processing information and acting as the control center for the body. Remember, what your brain determines the sensation to mean is the way in which the body will respond, but the spine also has some reflexes that it can do by bypassing the brain to literally keep you safe if we don't have time for the brain. We don't have time for the brain to catch up. So the next part, the second division of the nervous system is called peripheral. Peripheral? I don't have time. The peripheral nervous system, which its responsibility is to carry messages from the central nervous system, that vertical, and the rest of the body. So whatever this vertical, the brain and the spine needs, it's communicating horizontally now. We're in the x-axis. Now, I just want to give you a quick example. Think about peripheral, right? What is the first thing you think about? I don't know about you, but I thought about peripheral vision, right? I'm focused on one thing, but I can still see what's in my peripheral vision. I can see what's off to the side of me, even if I'm focused on one thing. So that focusness is the brain and the spine, and the peripheral, again, off to the side, is our x-axis, or the division of the nervous system we are talking about today. So I have some displays for you of the peripheral nervous system, which is the messenger. Now, if you recall, I said that the spine is also the messenger from brain to spine, but don't get overwhelmed, right? Let's think about a company, the president and the vice president. What the president says, aka the brain, says goes. And he communicates that to the vice president, or the vice president communicates what the president wants to say. But if we think about the entire company, there's many messengers underneath those two. We all have a boss, essentially. Let's get into it. So yes, another display of both the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system together. How pretty. But when we're when we're talking about the peripheral nervous system, we're talking about nerves, right? Communicating what the spine is saying. We're dealing with those senses, and we're dealing with a lot of internal organs here. We'll get into it. Bye. going into the core functions of the nervous system. Remember, we have 3. What are they? Sensation, integration, and response. So when we're thinking about sensation, remember that's sense. That's our senses taking in information. That is happening through the division we're talking about today. Integration, right? The process of interpreting sensoring information, which happens through the brain and the spinal cord. Ding, 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 ding. The brain and the spinal cord, that's the central nervous system. That's what we just talked about. It's responsible for the interpretation, right? And deciding how the body should respond. And then last but not least, we have the response function of the nervous system, which is the body's reaction to process information through muscles and glands. So those muscles and glands are also a portion of the peripheral nervous system, from what I'm understanding. Okay, so again, I'm just displaying this in a different way. Nervous system consists of 2 divisions: central nervous system, brain and spine; peripheral nervous system, a bunch of glands, senses, organs; and the peripheral nervous system, which is carrying messages between the central nervous system and the rest of the body, has 2 divisions: the autonomic nervous system and the somatic nervous system. We're going to talk about the autonomic nervous system first. The autonomic nervous system is a part. Okay, relax. Okay. The autonomic nervous system is the part of the peripheral nervous system that controls involuntary bodily functions such as heart rate, digestion, breathing rate, pupil size, and blood pressure. It works automatically without conscious control to maintain homeostasis, aka internal balance. Now, involuntary bodily functions without conscious control. What does this sound like? The subconscious brain. Exactly, guys, right? Whether we're aware or not, the subconscious brain is storing all this memories and beliefs and values and self-image, all of these components of the self that are running in the background, and whether you realize it or not only is it moving faster, so it's gonna win in comparison to your consciousness, but we get so attached to a lot of these identities within the subconscious that they prevent us from what we can even be conscious of. Go watch the videos, please. The same way we think about the subconscious, things that are hidden but going automatically, they're not necessarily hidden. You just have to bring your conscious awareness to them. Now, involuntary functions, body functions such as heart rate, digestion, breathing, pupil size, and blood pressure. Now, we can bring our awareness to these things, but whether we do so or not, the body is still going to make sure your heart's going, which is lovely. Thank you, body. Say thank you to your body, okay? So, talk about homeostasis just for a moment. I do have a lesson where we're going to talk about this in the future, but this is essentially your body trying to keep your internal state balanced through these factors such as heart rate, digestion, breathing rate, pupil size, blood pressure. And again, we can move our awareness to it. Now, this homeostasis, internal balance, is one of the functions of the nervous system, right? Which your body keeps your internal state balanced and stable. Now, I'm going to give you an example of one of these and bringing your attention to it and how much it can help you. I'm going to talk about breathing rate. Well, not the rate part, just breathing. So, I remember somebody commenting on the fact that I was breathing through my mouth. I didn't really notice, and who knows how often that was happening, but particularly in this moment, it was the middle of winter, and because of that, the comment that they made was because of the fact that it was cold and I was taking in cold air faster than if I would be breathing through my nose. And then it became a whole discussion about not taking in the toxins of the air. I do have something. Is it better to breathe through the nose or the mouth? Benefits of nasal breathing. Filters dust, allergens, and other particles through the nasal passageways, right? We have like hair in our nose. Like versus our mouth being open. Think about how, like, first of all, how much bigger the mouth hole is than these little holes, the nostril holes. Okay. Warms and humidifies incoming air before reaching the lungs. Cool. Helps regulate airflow and may improve oxygen exchange efficiency. Encourages proper tongue and jaw posture, which can support oral health and may reduce dryness of the mouth and throat, right? But, and then I need to move on. When is mouth breathing normal or helpful? It says, during intense exercise, when your body's demand for air is very high, if your nose is temporarily blocked from cold, allergies, or congestion, and in certain medical situations where nasal airflow is restricted, right? So again, that was a thought I never thought about before. That was never attention that I brought to my, if I'm breathing through my mouth or my nose. But since that conversation, if I ever catch myself breathing through my mouth, I start breathing through my nose. And I do think it makes a difference. I mean, it even says it in the research, but even in my own experience, I feel the difference. So if I help my body by, hey, I'm going to start breathing through my nose so that my lungs don't have to, so that it's humidified and warmed before reaching the inner state of my body. And that I'm not taking in so many allergens and particles from the air so that my body doesn't have to, my nervous system doesn't have to work on all this stuff. Do you see how we can do things so that the nervous system can kind of just continue to be stable in itself? Okay. So again, this autonomic nervous system is in charge of this homeostasis, has a lot to do with these organs and just like maintaining your balance, which means that the nervous system isn't just there when you need to fight or flight or rest or freeze. It's always running. So we can help it run by having a routine that helps it and habits that help it. Okay, moving on. Oh, kinda. There's divisions to the autonomic nervous system, which is the system we just talked about, all these organs and the subconscious nervous system. I love it. Coined. Okay, I'm going to talk about the three divisions very quickly. We have the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight. I am in a situation, or I think so, right, where I need to fight to keep myself alive or stable, or flight, literally run. So when this part of your nervous system is in effect, it increases your heart rate, raises blood pressure, dilates pupils, slows digestion, and releases energy. Now, this is normally active, this sympathetic nervous system, the fight or the flight, in stress, danger, exercise, or excitement. So we want to start being aware of the body the same way we're becoming aware of the brain. So out of those four examples, stress, danger, exercise, or excitement, I think we're going to choose the exercise or excitement, right? Observe yourself during exercise and the way that your body feels. Like, that's a lot of energy. Like, that can be a good thing. It's just not good when you don't need it, right? And think about like CEOs and, I don't know, very successful people, chances are they're very good at staying calm even in these stressful situations, right? A lot of times the stress in itself is an illusion. Ooh, lesson. Okay, next. Parasympathetic nervous system, a part of the autonomic nervous system, tells us this is for rest and digest, right? When you need to chill. This means that your body, when you say, yo, chill, it should be able to. And we'll talk about at the end ways that we can regulate all of these different systems. But you'll know that this is an effect to parasympathetic nervous system during decreased heart rate, stimulates digestion, constricts pupils, promotes energy storage and recovery. So this is active during rest, relaxation, sleep, and after your meals, the itis, which is a whole conversation. I can't. Enteric nervous system, again, a division of the autonomic nervous system. The main role is controlling digestion locally. So we have a part of the nervous system that is simply responsible for the gut. Regulates gut movement, secretion of digestive enzymes, and coordinates intestinal activity. I'm trying to be an adult, guys. Okay, when is this active? It's ongoing, works independently, but influenced by the other two systems, the other two above, sympathetic and parasympathetic. So this means, have you ever heard like the gut is the second brain? What we are eating, what is happening in our gut needs a whole role in itself to be regulated. That's a pretty big deal if you ask me. But I'm moving on. So again, the peripheral nervous system, which is the division we're talking about today, has a second division called the somatic nervous system, and we are moving to that now. The somatic nervous system is the part of the nervous system that controls voluntary movements of skeletal muscles and carries sensory information from the brain to the body. Okay? It allows you to consciously move and respond to the environment. So, voluntary movements, and you can consciously move and respond to the environment. What does it sound like? The conscious brain. Good job, guys. I'm proud of you. Okay. So, what do we normally tell the body to do, for example, right? I want to walk. I want to get up. I want to stretch. I want to adjust my spine. Like, we can tell the body what to do as well. And the skeletal muscles are bones, muscles, and tissue, basically saying, I want to move. I want to do this, that, and the other. You tell your body, I'm going to do this, right? This is the conscious part of what you are telling the body to do. And carry sensory information from the body to the brain, right? Which was a part of the definition of the peripheral nervous system to begin with. Carries messages between the central nervous system and the rest of the body. Beautiful. So, because think about it. I'm sorry. Can we go back to the autonomic nervous system? When you get triggered, when you need to do something, when the body needs to do something for you because it's out of alignment, think about the heart rate, digestion, breathing. Like, those are the factors that start going off in your body. Your heart starts racing, your palms start sweating, your breathing increases. So do you see why it's so important to actually turn our attention to this sometimes? Because if you know how to calm yourself down with your breath and pay attention to when my heart is racing, what made my heart race, right? Because you can, again, if you're more, there's different types of intelligences. We don't have to do this all through the brain. We can do it through the body. And noticing your sensations are going to help you. Back on track. So, again, the somatic nervous system is more of the voluntary movements, you telling your body what you want it to do, and the sensory information portion of this. Okay? What I'm thinking about, if you want to know, remember how I said that you can hear sounds that are not there? We can have these internal senses that are not coming from your external environment, right? I'm almost feeling like, okay, the somatic nervous system saying, I want to get up, I want to do this. Like, think about like maybe being at a restaurant and like you need to move a table. Like, that could be an indication of your environment telling you to get up. But I'm just using that example because even in this, the somatic nervous system, the voluntary movements, what I'm thinking about is that me telling myself to get up, to do something, to run, to sleep, to breathe, that's an external sensation in itself. Not sensation, but like instruction, right? And the autonomic nervous system, doing things outside of your consciousness, it's like the body is saying it needs this. That's like an internal sensation, right? My heart rate is going off. But is that going through the senses that's making that go off? Or is that just coming from within? Because again, remember guys, the nervous system is responsible for two things: communicating your internal state as well as the external environment. Now, sometimes it's communication about that thing, person, place. Sometimes it's communication about your trauma, right? Internal. And it can also come from internal, like, yo, I need you to regulate yourself. The body doing it on your behalf. I'm moving on, but that was kind of cool. Okay, so I had this like random thought that I'll just tell you guys about quickly because it was like, what's really in control here? Remember, I said it was the brain. Yes. I'll tell you guys this really quick. And my house is starting to get rowdy, so I gotta... Okay, the brain. 86 million neurons. Spinal cord. 10 to 20 million neurons. The peripheral nervous system, which is what we're talking about today, 100 to 200 million neurons. I just want to say, in terms of AI and talking to them about the nervous system, like, they're sus about it. Like, I don't think, remember when we talked about the database, like, it can only spew out what it wants you to know? I don't think that they really want us to know about the nervous system, but I'm going to shut up. That means alone the brain has more activity going on. So if you, again, can work on your brain of, hey, I'm going to deal with my memories, number one, and I'm going to determine what sensations mean to me. The body is strong here and can take over, but it's not that the body is taking over. It's that the body is a part of the body is just responding to the interpretation you gave it. It's a part of the memory. So deal with your memory. But that's crazy, right? That everything that our body is responding to, not everything, right? The spine, whatever, but so much of it is determined by what your brain says is good or not. And I just want to say, like, this is why traveling and taking in new information is so important, because you can be thinking, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, or, oh, this is what this means. And that's only because everybody in your environment determined it to mean that, not because you interpreted that, which again goes back to those beliefs. I'm done. Last but not least, I just want to talk about a few portions of the nervous system again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you when you can know that this is actively doing its role in your body, like, yay, thumbs up. versus when it's out of whack, when it's out of alignment, when you can tell my body is taking over and what you can start doing about it. I got you. So, the sympathetic nervous system, which was a portion of the autonomic, this is the fight or flight again. Its role is to activate energy, alertness, and your survival response. Good signs. You know how to focus. You are motivated. You're able to take action without being overwhelmed. Signs it's out of alignment. Anxiety, panic, racing heart, irritability, overreacting. Ways to start regulating this is through your breath and grounding, reducing caffeine. Cheers. Rhythmic movement, aka walking, being in a rhythm with your body. Sympathetic nervous system, rest, digest, and social engagement. This is when you want to relax. The role is to calm the body, support connection and recovery. Signs it's good. Calm, connected, present, emotionally balanced. Signs of dysregulation. Difficulty relaxing. Mild disengagement, disassociation, and low mood. So ways to start regulating this is through social connection, deep breathing, mindfulness, and gentle rest, right? Teaching your body to relax and doing it more often. Everything that I'm giving you as a way to start regulating the different parts of the nervous system, please don't just start practicing that when you actually feel like it's acting up. No, we got to be practicing this in some way every day. Like, we should be moving every day, like walking or exercising. We should be sleeping every day and resting and breathing, right? We have to say how much of these steps are a part of my day. And if one of these divisions of the nervous system are out of whack, I need to incorporate more of those activities in my life. Coolio. Now we have that was the parasympathetic ventral. So we have the parasympathetic dorsal aspect, which is freeze and shut down. So the last one was rest and digest. This is freeze and shut down. Conserves energy in extreme stress. The reason why your body is shutting down while you are freezing is because too much energy is about to be released. It's trying to calm that ass down. It's only funny in hindsight. I'm so sorry. Okay. Signs of good regulation. Able to rest deeply and recover when needed. Signs of dysregulation. Numbness, disassociation, fatigue, being checked out, or depression. So this is kind of a little bit of an avoidant category, I would say, but doesn't have to be. But ways to regulate is gentle movement, going slow, sunlight. Oh my gosh. When we get to the homeostasis, when we start talking about how important sun is, I swear, when I've traveled, I've mainly been on islands, and the sun, I love you, sun. It's just like, it gives you vitamins, it gives you vitamin D. Like, God also gave us the planet to help us. So us always inside, as I'm in my closet, us always inside and not taking care of ourselves, of course it's going to have an effect on our bodies. We have to go out more. Anyway, small tasks, right? Taking it step by step, and safe stimulation, right? as in safe stimulation is under music or touch. So practicing being around people that make you feel safe so that you are not completely checking out, because really this freeze or shutdown, I almost see it, because I've experienced it, is a way of like literally disconnecting from your body, which is like cool. If you know, you know, but it's also not cool, because it's literally something that your body had to learn in order to survive, because your environment, aka your body, we can see the environment of the nervous system as the environment or the environment, right? Your environment wasn't safe, so the best thing for your body was to cut off. So let's continue, because my battery. The autonomic nervous system, which was the overall of all of these three we've already talked about, was flexible regulation, shifts between states appropriately, right? Between all of these states. I know when to rest. I know when to fight. I know when to flight. Hopefully we're not fighting. Signs of good regulation. You can move between action and calm smoothly. And signs of dysregulation, stuck in one state, chronic stress or shutdown. Ways to regulate: routine. Sleep, exercise, stress management, practices. Last but not least is the vagal nerve. The vagal nerve is the primary component of the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay. So this is either for the rest and digest and freeze and shut down. So this supports rest and safe state. So if you're really in a pinch, in a bind, in a pickle, this is kind of something I want you to pay attention to, because signs of good regulation are steady emotions, good digestion, and relaxed body. Signs of dysregulation: poor stress recovery, anxiety, and digestive issues. The ways you can kind of regulate your body immediately: humming, singing, cold water on your face, slow breathing, and social safety. So again, listen to these. What you noticed about yourself, which means you have to be aware. Please start practicing some of these and doing your own research, because you don't want to just be practicing this when shit hits the fan. You want to have it already as a tool that your body knows how to do, so that it does become the new habit in replacement of the old. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this second part. Our next lesson is, remember, we've already talked about changing our mental database, and now we're about to start to talk about how to remove all of these emotions from the body that have been piled up from all of those memories, so that we can start clearing some of this, right? We don't want the sensation we're feeling to be from a memory, especially if it's bad, right? From trauma. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. We're going to get out of the science-y talk for a little bit, which is nice. Finishing up our emotions talk before moving to our next series. Bum, bum, bum. And the last thing I'll just tell you, since the battery hasn't gone out, is I'll be traveling soon. You guys know I love to travel, I think. But I always love it because I'm taking in new information and whatnot. And hopefully I'll be able to record a lot more as well, and not from the closet, even though I quite like the closet, don't get me wrong. And yeah, so be patient with me again, because I'll be on the move soon, and also going through some time differences. But then I'm on it, and we're gonna get it. Okay? So I'll talk to you guys soon. Stay tuned in, stay happy, and I love you, and we'll talk soon. Okay? Bye.